What's up guys, thanks for tuning in today. I've got some upgrades here for my Tamiya TD-4 Super Avante. I've got this little gem right here. Part number 22029, the Tamiya aluminum ball diff. You see that little cat right there? That little piece of aluminum is gonna save my bacon. And what do you think of this, guys? Tazer twin motor ESC. Now, I've never used this thing before. This is uncharted territory for me, but if you guys aren't aware of these, this is an all-in-one motor and ESC combo. Pretty slick design. It does have some limitations. It's only a 3000 kV, but after driving the TD-4, I've come to the conclusion this is not something I'm going to be able to put a ton of power through. Those ball differentials, I can just see them being turned to mush. I had some big power ideas for this thing. Check out where my head was at originally here. And we all know space is a challenge in this chassis. So you'll see where my crazy brain was going. But let's start off with what my thoughts were initially. And if you take a gander there, you're gonna see a Castle motor, 4-pole, sensorless, 6,900 kV. That's what I was thinking. I know it's kind of extreme. And here was my Castle Sidewinder 3 ESC. I gotta tell you, I was having a heck of a time trying to get this ESC in here and get the body to fit. Like, there's just not a lot of space in this chassis. And then, then discovering that I had issues with the ball diffs, I said, well, that's way too much motor anyway. So what am I doing? Figure your stuff out here, Phil. So came up with a conclusion. I ordered this guy. I also ordered up some of the Yeah Racing, I think they were Yeah Racing, gear differentials. So they haven't come in yet. They're coming in from RC Mart. We all know how supply chains are going these days, pretty darn slow. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But in the meantime, we're going to install this guy right here, 3000 kV, which is going to be a good amount of speed. And we don't have to worry about an ESC inside the chassis in the cockpit area. So we'll have tons of room to do what we got to do. So tons of room to do what we got to do. So without further ado, let's get to it. So there it is, guys. Pretty remarkable technology. Let's compare this to, say, like a 540. Here is the all-in-one. Look at that. Basically the equivalent of like a 550 as opposed to a 540. So it sticks out a little bit more, but not anything significant. We've got an integrated waterproof on-off switch with a separate little button here. I'm sure that's used for programming. We have our nice long lead to go into our receiver and another nice long lead. And this is going to go right to the battery, believe it or not. Now, this EC3 connector, I run Dean's on all mine, so I'm going to switch this over to a Dean's real quick. And we'll get this guy installed. Nice looking motor though, isn't it, guys? Look at that. Tazer twin, 3000 kV. Cool. Let's get her soldered up. So I did just a couple of things off camera here, guys, real quick. After I got this lead soldered up, I did calibrate the motor and ESC combo. So that's already done. I just wanted it done ahead of time just so I knew it was good to go. So that part is finished. Now we're just going to get into this rear end. As you can see, I've already taken my rear wheels off and I'm going to open up the rear end to access the rear differential and start working on it. Let's make it happen. One thing I will say about this design is that it's really nice and easy to get access to your rear diff. A couple screws there, what was that, 8 screws? And there she is. That's pretty cool. So what's happening here, guys, is that as that little plastic T-nut strips out, you can't tighten your diff 100%. So you can imagine under load, this is just me holding it, and I can turn that diff gear quite easily. So I'm just holding the two out drives with my hand in this towel, and I can turn that gear diff pretty easily. So that's the culprit right there. It's stripped, and so that's just going to cause excessive, it's like a super duper open diff, and it just won't transfer power to the ground. It's going to put a lot of wear on this actual diff gear. Could even melt it, especially if I was running that 6900 in here. So I'm just going right back to the manual, guys, making sure I don't miss a step or screw something up, because I probably will. In the manual, they want you to give the spring a little crush. Now we have our new screw, our new blue doodad. My idea of the easiest way to do this is like this. Get the grease on there. So here, guys, I'm just going to use one of my electronic driver bits, which is magnetized. As you can see, it's quite magnetized. It picked up pretty much every one of the balls. And I'm just going to get them here in this grease. Sorry you can't see much. All you see is my hands, but... So there we go. Those bad boys are on there. A little more grease on top for a little grease sandwich. And there is our greasy thrust washer. Ta-da! Now on this side we get our spring. Let's see if I can get it started with the screwdriver. That wasn't so bad. So step 1 of 2 is done. Next step, guys, is to get our motor installed. Let's get hopping. Or pull for more torque, castle. So I'm just going to really quickly off camera get this thing buttoned back up, and then we've got some testing to do. Hopefully this thing works. I'm getting excited. Well, I gotta say, guys, that was quite the task, but it is now done. I'm glad I did a lot of that off camera, because that would have been the longest, most boring video ever. So here we are to show you guys what we've accomplished. Man, there's not a lot of room in this chassis, so I really had to kind of get creative with some wiring, and check out what I ended up with, guys. So I've got a 2S LiPo in there, hard case, 4500 milliamp. And I ran the wires out the back. And as you can see with the ESC / motor right there, that little Dynamite, that's our guy. Wires came right up through the top. I routed the on-off switch through the side, double side taped it right here to the side of the body, or to the chassis. That does clear the body nicely. And just a whole lot of wire management just to make it all work and keep the wires away from the four-wheel drive propeller shaft. So it is in there, guys. It is done. Check it out. Check it out. It's alive. But here's what I was talking about before with the ball diff stripping out. Rear wheels want to jump, and the front just slips. That's what we got going on. The front diff is still slipping quite a bit. I'll do a little bit of testing outside, see if I can still drive it. Hopefully it's got enough grip where it'll actually still operate. Like I said before, guys, I do have a couple of the gear differentials coming in from, I want to say it was Hot Racing. Or not Hot Racing, sorry, Yeah Racing. So I've got them coming in from China. So I'll replace the front diff with the gear diff once that guy gets here. So that's it for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed the video today. Please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. We really would appreciate it. It really helps us guys out. Stay tuned for more action with this guy soon to come. Otherwise, we'll get it done once we get the new front ball or the new front gear diff in. And then I'll get another running video going for you guys then. Thanks for watching, guys. Be excellent to each other.